Stop buying bad monitors! If you're looking for the best 1440p gaming monitor 2022, you've come to the right place. Hi, welcome back to PC Builder. I'm Jason. 1440p gaming monitors are rapidly overtaking 1080p as the go-to resolution for many gamers, especially with prices for the best 1440p gaming monitors falling and new graphics cards providing better performance at 1440p. We'll cover everything that you need to know to buy the best 1440p gaming monitor 2022, and we'll provide specific product recommendations at every budget level. Remember, if you get value out of the video, please give it a like as it really helps out the channel. And of course, subscribe and click that bell icon. That way you get notified when we release cool content. With that, let's jump into it. Now, gaming monitors are very complicated and I see a lot of mistakes. So let's break down the key things that you need to know to find the best 1440p gaming monitor 2022 for you. Let's start off with the pros and cons of 1440p versus 1080p and 4K, because right now, all three options are viable, especially with the upcoming next-gen GPUs launching from AMD and NVIDIA. 1080p monitors are increasingly becoming reserved for those with limited budgets. You can get a good one like the AOC 24G2 or 27G2 for less than $180, or for those who consider themselves esports pros and want to guarantee over 200 FPS in shooter titles in order to gain a competitive advantage. On the flip side, the best 4K gaming monitors now begin around $500 US for 144Hz models, with higher refresh rates beginning closer to $1,000 USD. But the big challenge continues to be getting a fast enough GPU to ensure high enough FPS to actually take advantage of those 4K monitors, which of course is further dependent on the kinds of games you play. That leaves 1440p as the new sweet spot, with 1440p gaming monitor prices falling well below $300 US for a good entry-level 144Hz model, with higher quality 1440p gaming monitors priced much lower than even a year ago. And along with much faster GPUs that can consistently deliver high FPS in most titles, the best 1440p gaming monitors are now available to a much wider audience of gamers. Special note to PS5 owners, while Sony is beta testing native support for 1440p on the PS5, at the time of this video, it's not yet widely available, and until it is, I do not recommend 1440p for the PS5. Xbox Series X and S owners, fear not, as your console does support 1440p natively. Let's briefly go over the key specs that you need to understand to find the best 1440p gaming monitor in 2022. At this resolution, there are three main aspect ratios. The very popular widescreen gaming monitors are 16:9 or 16 pixels wide for every 9 pixels in height. Ultrawide monitors are 21:9 or 21 pixels wide for every 9 pixels in height. And super ultra-wide gaming monitors like the Samsung Odyssey G9 are 32:9. Note that consoles like the Xbox Series X do not provide much support for ultra-wide or super ultra-wide gaming monitors, so I would only consider these aspect ratios for PC gaming. Next up is refresh rate, which is just basically how many FPS or frames per second your monitor can actually display. Now this number, it's expressed in Hertz, or Hz for short. A typical gaming monitor refresh rate is 144 Hz, but the best 1440p gaming monitors go all the way up to 240 Hz. Now remember that refresh rate is just the maximum your monitor can display, and you still need a graphics card capable of putting out that level of FPS at 1440p. So what's the minimum GPU that you should have in order to ensure good performance in a wide range of titles with the best 1440p gaming monitor in 2022? Well, on the AMD side, I would recommend at least the performance of a Radeon RX 6600 XT or RX 5700 XT or higher. And that should include all of the RX 7000 GPUs launching in late 2022. Now on the NVIDIA side, I'd recommend at least the performance of an RTX 2060 Super, a 2070, or 3060, or better. And this should include all of the RTX 4000 GPUs launching in 2022 and probably early 2023 as well. For the very high refresh rate 1440p gaming monitors around 240 Hz, I'd recommend jumping up at least one, possibly two tiers of GPU performance. So an NVIDIA RTX 3070 or 2080 Ti or AMD RX 6800 or higher, including the RTX 4000 and RX 7000 GPUs set to launch this year. Obviously, the faster the GPU, the more FPS you're going to enjoy, depending on the game you're playing. So let's talk panel type for the best 1440p gaming monitor in 2022. For most price ranges, we effectively have two choices, either an IPS or VA panel. We'll talk about OLED in just a moment. Typically, your choice between VA and IPS is also going to come down to the curved versus flat monitor choices, as virtually all the curved monitors are VA panels, while most of the flat monitors are IPS panels. Now, generally, VA panels have a much better contrast and black uniformity, while IPS panels typically have better viewing angles and color display. In terms of the curved versus flat, some people prefer the more immersive feel of a curved panel, while others prefer the more traditional flat panel, especially if they do content creation or other tasks. Now, in mid-2022, Alienware launched a 1440p OLED ultrawide gaming monitor, and it is possible that we'll see one or maybe even two join its ranks by the end of the year. Now, while these monitors are hands down amazing, with incredible contrast and response times, the hefty $1,300 US price tag, well above good 4K OLEDs, might be too high for many. But we will discuss this when we get to the best 1440p ultrawide monitor recommendations, because it certainly is the best for those with $1,300 to spend. Let's talk about response times and why you absolutely can't trust what the manufacturer lists on their product page. What is response time? It's the time it takes one pixel on your monitor to go from one color state to another color state and then back to the original state. It's listed in milliseconds, but most manufacturers simply list 1 millisecond or even less, sometimes 0.5 milliseconds, and those are nonsense. So the only way to get accurate response times is from an independent third-party tester who actually uses the equipment to test it. Anytime I refer to a response time in this video, I'm referring to a tested response time by an independent third party and not the nonsense that the manufacturer lists on the Amazon page. Let's talk about AMD FreeSync versus NVIDIA G-Sync. Now, thankfully, for the best 1440p gaming monitor in 2022, this is no longer a complicated discussion. Both FreeSync and G-Sync are technologies that sync your monitor refresh rate and your GPU output in order to avoid screen tearing during your gameplay. Now, virtually every 1440p gaming monitor in 2022 comes with at least AMD FreeSync, as it's the cheaper technology. All modern NVIDIA GPUs can utilize FreeSync as long as you use the DisplayPort cable when connecting your monitor to your graphics card. So, regardless of whether you have an AMD or NVIDIA GPU, any gaming monitor we recommend will work just fine with it. All of our product recommendations are linked down in the video description by category. Now, we update those deals every couple of days as things sell out and, of course, new deals pop up. So check out the links in the video description for the current best deals. Deals listed with a fire emoji in front of it are particularly good deals in that category that might sell out or change. And if there are two fire emojis, that means it's a fantastic deal regardless of the category. All right, let's jump into the best 1440p budget gaming monitors out there right now. And I'm going to give you my top choice, but it is dependent on the price, and the price has fluctuated quite a bit on this monitor. So I'll give you some alternatives as well. But my top choice right now is the Gigabyte M27Q-P. That's right, this is the updated version of the M27Q. The panel is great in terms of both the color and the refresh rate. What I do really like about this monitor, if you're into these kind of features, is it has Gigabyte's KVM gaming switches, which allow you to use the same mouse and keyboard with multiple devices connected to this thing. Overall, just really fantastic monitor. The issue has been the price. They MSRP'd this at $399, which is redonkulous, absolutely redonkulous at that price. But I think they've figured out that that price was redonkulous. There's way better panels at about $400 than this. So right now, as you can see, it's down to $279. I think if you can find this thing for $330 or less, it's an automatic buy. It's a really phenomenal monitor. At $279, there should just be no thought process. You should grab this one. Unless something new comes out in the next couple of months, this should be your top buy at $279. Let me give you some really good alternatives, of course, should that model sell out. In fact, this was going to be right here. This was going to be my number one choice before I saw the price reduction on the Gigabyte model. So check this out. If the other one's not available in your market or not available for the price that you're looking for, $279 $450 right now for the HP X27Q. This is 165 hertz refresh rate, good color gamut to it, AMD FreeSync Premium. Overall, in terms of budget monitors, look, $249, that used to be a good 1080p monitor, and the fact that we're talking about this as being a good entry-level 1440p gaming monitor is quite insane right now. I think it's a great value. Another really good alternative is the Dell S2722GGM. Great entry-level 27-inch 1440p monitor with a curved VA panel. So especially for those of you who are looking for more of a curved panel out there, this is going to do it for you. Like a lot of VA panels, it has really good contrast, and this also has a really good color gamut. It's got great peak brightness, it's got very low input lag, and an excellent response time, and it has AMD FreeSync Premium. $279 right now over at Amazon. Anywhere in this price range is about what I would expect. Let's jump into the best mid-range 1440p gaming monitors of 2022. I'm going to give you my top selection here, especially because the price continues to come down on it. But I'll give you some alternatives if you can't find this. Links are going to be down in the video description. This is the MSI Optics Mag 274 QRF-QD. Yes, just rolls off the tongue. I don't know who comes up with these monitor names, but they need to do better, right? That being said, this is a phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal monitor. 165 hertz refresh rate. It's got a great color gamut on it. Fantastic, in fact, exceptional response time. Low input lag, supports both FreeSync and G-Sync. So certainly worth the price of admission for the 27-inch here. The next monitors I would look at in the mid-range category, LG 27GP850-B and the 32-inch version, which is just LG 32GP850-B. Both of these absolutely excellent gaming monitors. They got fast refresh rates, 165 hertz, virtually no overshoot, and very little motion blur, mostly because it's got some really good backlight strobing. Again, that really improves the motion clarity. Supports both AMD FreeSync as well as G-Sync compatibility. And the funny thing about these is typically the LG 27-inch version sells for about $360-ish, and the 32-inch version sells for $396, but sometimes they're the exact same price. In that case, get the 32-inch one all the way. Both really great monitors around the $350 to $400 price point. Let's jump into the best 1440p ultra-wide gaming monitors. Yes, we are going to get to that Alienware OLED in just a moment, but let's start off at the budget level and quickly run through some of the ones I would recommend. I will say there's a lot of monitors I could recommend here, and as prices change, I may change my recommendations down in the video description. I'm just going off current pricing right now, so if you see a great deal, I'll leave it down in the comments, I'll check it out. But right now, I think the best deal to me is the G34W QC. This is a gigabytes curved gaming monitor, and for $349, great contrast, really good response times on it. $349. So if you're looking to get into an ultra-wide gaming experience on the cheap, this is definitely the way to go. I will say though, I think that monitor is likely going to be phased out by this monitor right here, which is the M34 WQ. This is a flat IPS ultra-wide. I know so many people in our previous videos, well, I want a flat ultra-wide 1440p gaming monitor. I'm like, there are just really aren't great ones right now. Well, here's a new one. This is a very nice monitor, $450 right now. At MSRPs for $499. I think it would probably be worth that. 144 hertz, but this monitor is just slightly better in every single way. You get better color, you get slightly better response times to it, just a slightly newer model, and you get the KVM switches, which Gigabyte's putting increasingly on all of its monitors with an M on the front of them. And that means you can connect multiple devices to it and use the same keyboard and mouse. Really nice feature. Again, $449, this is hard to beat. Another monitor that I'm keeping my eye on is the Dell S3422DWG. This is one that I've often recommended. $459 right now, not a bad price for it, but I've definitely seen it lower. It can get as low as like $389. And at that point, it's definitely a steal. Now, this is going to be a 34-inch curved VA panel. That's right, it's a VA panel. Great contrast on this monitor. Overall, good color gamut. Great peak brightness, just a really phenomenal monitor for not much more, $459. All right, let's get to the best 1440p ultra-wide gaming monitor, which is the Alienware AW3423DW. And listen, $1,300, I know some of you are gonna freak out, but this is an OLED monitor, gaming monitor, the first of its kind ever, for $1,300. And honestly, if you look back at what new technologies often come in at in the monitor space, $1,300 is extremely tame. I mean, we've seen monitors $2,500, $3,000. So $1,300, this is actually a very good price. And I think it bodes really well for the future. So let's get into the specs. 175 hertz refresh rate, fantastic. Supports G-Sync natively, also supports FreeSync. The great thing about OLED monitors, and we game on an LG C1 OLED of 4K 120 hertz, is it's got instantaneous response times. The panel can turn off individual pixels. The blacks look absolutely incredible. And HDR, if you want actual HDR gaming, you got to go OLED. Quite honestly, it's just night and day difference. Now, of course, there are some downsides to OLED panels. Let's quickly go through them. Burn-in. All those on this monitor, Samsung's done a number of things to really mitigate the burn-in issue. I'm not that concerned about it. They've got a long-term warranty on it. And I will say, if you're looking to do spreadsheets all day on this thing, this may not be the monitor for you. In terms of text clarity, it's not going to be the best. It's not going to be as good as some of the other ones. Again, this is a gaming monitor. If you're looking for the best in gaming, and in particular, if you're looking for the best HDR 1440p gaming monitor, this is probably where you need to be. Let's jump into the best 1440p gaming monitors, 240 hertz version. And we're going to start off with what I still consider to be the best, at least widescreen version now, 27-inch 1440p gaming monitor, which continues to be the Odyssey G7. That's right, the Samsung Odyssey G7. I don't know what it is about this monitor. It was clearly several years ahead of its time. It has absolutely incredible contrast to it, incredible response times. It's got a very aggressive curvature. It's got a 1000R curvature. Now look, for some folks, that's just too much. You're not going to want to do a ton of content creation on this, but if you are into very immersive gaming, everybody who has bought one of these things that I know absolutely loves this monitor. And for $550, sometimes it goes up to $600, the price does bounce around quite a bit. And the 32-inch, usually going for about $600 up to $650, that's a pretty good price point. It's not that much more than the other mid-range monitors, and you get an amazing gaming package out of it. Honestly, continues to be, in my opinion, other than the Alienware OLED, the best 1440p gaming monitor out there. But what if you want a flat IPS 240 hertz or higher 1440p gaming monitor and you want the absolute best? I'm going to give you three monitors here that kind of vie for the title. It's the Asus ROG Strix XG27AQM. Now this monitor, absolutely great monitor, great response times out of it, great color gamut, very low input lag, AMD FreeSync, and it's also G-Sync compatible. Great monitor for $663. Honestly, if I were a little bit more price conscious in this and I didn't want to spend a lot of extra money, but I still wanted what I considered close to being the best, this would probably be my pick. I am afraid that this monitor is being phased out though. The next monitor I'd look at is the Alienware AW2721D flat panel, 240 hertz response rate, very low input lag, great response times, and right now, $749. That's right. This monitor, your eyes are not lying, has actually gone up in price over the last year. It used to sell closer to $659 to $699. This monitor, I suspect, also may be kind of being phased out right now, but still, if you're looking for what I used to call the best of the best in terms of the IPS panels, this is definitely a great choice. Of course, a lot of people out there will absolutely scream at me if I don't include what they consider to be the absolute best 1440p flat IPS super high refresh rate monitor, which is the Asus ROG PG279QM. This is a 27-inch. One of the nice things about it is that it does come with native NVIDIA G-Sync support. It's just not just AMD FreeSync, that's also NVIDIA G-Sync compatible. So you get things like the reflex latency analyzer and all those little goodies that NVIDIA puts into its monitor packages. Now, obviously that raises the cost of the monitor, but some people, especially if you're into super competitive shooters, which if you're looking for a 240 hertz monitor, you probably are, those are the nice little things that you might like to have. Great color gamut, overall really nice motion clarity to it, great response rates, low latency. $804 though, it is getting more on the expensive side, but honestly, if you want the best of the best of flat IPS, this is probably it. Let's close out with the best super ultra wide 1440p gaming monitor. That's right, a 49-inch 240 hertz. That's the Odyssey G9. No, not the new Neo G9, the original G9. Jason, are you crazy? Why aren't you recommending the Neo? I just think that Samsung is still having some quality assurance issues with those monitors. I would give them some more time to work out whatever production problems they're having. And frankly, I'm not willing to spend $400 to $500 more to go through that. And honestly, the difference between them is really not that great. Yes, the mini LEDs versus this, you're gonna have more local dimming zones, probably a better HDR experience. Honestly, if you're looking for HDR, go with the Alienware Ultrawide instead of the Super Ultrawide. If you're going Super Ultrawide, it's because you want to feel like you are completely being wrapped in your game. And to me, the Odyssey G9 takes care of that. Now the price bounces all over the place, anywhere from like $1,100 up to $1,300 or $1,400 at times. And it can get very cheap around Black Friday as well. So if you're watching this around Black Friday, this monitor, I have seen it go on sale for as little as $1,000. But in my opinion, if you're looking for super ultra wide, this still remains the king of super ultra wides, at least until I feel confident enough to recommend the Neo G9. Remember to check out all the links down in the video description for updated pricing and availability and the best deals, which will update on a regular basis. If you got value out of this video, give it a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe and click that bell icon. That way you get notified when we release cool content. Also, let me know down in the comments, are you seeing better deals out there than we were able to identify now? Maybe prices have changed. Let us know. We'll keep updating those deals based on your input. And we'll catch you on the next one.